Hello, today is Monday, June 3rd, and I'm back. It's been a little bit, but now I'm back to making these election prediction videos, and I'm going to start with Trump versus Biden versus RFK Jr. based on the latest poll in every state. So following Trump's conviction, he has faced a recent little dive in the polls, but it hasn't been too much, and this is because while the conviction did dissuade some moderate voters, it also revitalized Trump's base, and some people even speculate that Trump's conviction can actually, in his 34 felony cases, can actually bolster his chances at this election. So today, we're going to be analyzing whether or not this actually impacts his election chances in every state in the union, plus DC. So make sure to stay tuned and watch the whole video to see what Trump's conviction actually means for this election and who will win in 2024. So without further ado, let's get started, and we're going to go in alphabetical order, starting with the state of Alabama. So Alabama is a strongly Trump state, and it's going to be going safely to Donald Trump whether or not the conviction did happen. So Alabama is still going to Trump, so Trump leads 9-0. On the other hand, the state of Alaska recently voted in a Democrat to their House of Representatives seat. So Trump is speculated to maybe have a little bit of a dive in the polls in Alaska, but he's up by such a sizable margin, 23, 19, 12, etc., that he will win the state of Alaska regardless. Next, we have Arizona, which is a swing state. So this state is actually decided by only a few percentage points, unlike the previous two states. And in fact, Trump is up by +4. There hasn't been too much polling after the conviction, but Trump still leads in Arizona. Maybe we'll speculate that he'll lead by like 1 to 2 points less, because there was a statistic that he will maybe lose 1 to 2% of voters. So he'll still win in the state of Arizona, but maybe not by as much. So even though Arizona is not yet a tilt state, it is almost going to Biden. So Trump may have to worry about that. And we saw back in 2020, Biden did win in Arizona, but back in 2016, Trump won by a pretty decent margin. So regardless, we go to Arkansas, where Trump only leads Kennedy by 3, but he leads Biden by 37, which is far and away enough to win the state, no matter the conviction. California, we do see that Biden wins in this state by double digits. So regardless of the conviction revitalizing Trump's support, and you'll see the conviction, it not only revitalizes Trump's support in moderate or lean states, it also even more so revitalizes Trump's support in safely Democratic states, because people who once saw maybe they thought their vote didn't count, now they realize if they're Trump supporters, they now think that their vote means more because they want to show support for the person they want to be president, who they view unjustly is getting convicted. That's their view. I'm not going to put in my view, but that's just what they think. So now we go to the next state, which is Colorado. So Colorado, at one point, you can see back here, it used to be Republican as recently as President Bush, but now it has been getting more and more blue. In 2016, it was pretty close. 2020, not so much. So maybe the conviction brings Trump below 10 percentage points, but it's not going to Trump. Regardless, it's still going to President Biden. So next we have the state of Connecticut. This is a smaller state. It's on the East Coast. It's only going to Biden by +9, and that poll was from a while ago. So let's give it to Biden pretty safely, because Connecticut, it's on the eastern seaboard. It is going to Biden. Biden wins the coastal states almost all of the time. Biden will also win his home state of Delaware. There hasn't been polling. You'll see in Delaware there hasn't been polling, in DC there hasn't been polling, and that's because everyone knows that both will go safely to President Biden. Meanwhile, in Florida, which is Trump's home state, Trump is leading by 13 percentage points, and this lead is expected to stay pretty stagnant depending on the conviction. Maybe he'll lose 1 to 2 points, still will be going to Donald Trump. Maybe not so safely, but pretty much it's a done deal. Trump is now at 59 electoral votes, trying to hit that 270 magic number. RFK Jr. stays at 0 for now. Now the state of Georgia. So Trump leads by +1, and this lead is expected to shrink after the conviction. It's expected to be Biden +1 following Trump's conviction. So Biden actually takes a stronger lead, 93 to 59. But Biden already has exacerbated his California. He has his Connecticut. He has Colorado. Trump still has some states that are electoral rich, ready to go, such as the state of Texas. So don't count them out just yet. Though Hawaii does expand Biden's lead with those 4 electoral votes, Idaho will not. Idaho will go to Donald Trump, canceling out the 4 electoral votes of Hawaii. Illinois, however, will go to Biden pretty safely, and it will bring Biden past 100 electoral votes. Illinois is one of the few states that isn't really coastal that does vote for Biden, and it safely votes for Biden pretty much always. You can see here 17 again, 16/17. Illinois hasn't been really a toss-up since back here Bush. This was the older Bush against Dukakis. So Illinois is a done deal. It's going to President Biden. On the other hand, Indiana will go to President Trump. It's actually the home of former Vice President Mike Pence, and that doesn't really matter because Trump's going to win it regardless. Same with Iowa. Even though Iowa at one point was viewed as a swing state, as you can see here, Trump won it by less than 10, but it wasn't really a swing state. People were kind of just panicking on the Trump camp, and people on the Biden camp were overconfident. Iowa's not really a swing state. Maybe it won't go by 10 points, but it'll go by slightly less. Similar to Florida, bringing Trump to 80. Next, we have the state of Kansas. Kansas, again, is safely Trump. And then we go to the state of Kentucky. Even though it elected a Democratic governor recently, it is going to Trump regardless. Same with Louisiana. So these states actually bring Trump within 14 of tying Biden. So Trump is filling out his middle America, as Nixon called it. Sometimes the people with smaller voices, the people with less electoral votes, but they combine to make a greater amount of votes. And you can see with these 6 votes here, 6 votes here, 8 votes here, Trump is bringing his comeback to the table. The state of Maine, it will go to Biden despite this poll. I mean, this poll is an outlier. You can see Biden wins in Maine pretty much all the time. And you can see back here, Biden won Maine at large by 9 percentage points. He's not going to win by that much now, but he's going to win by a pretty decent margin. Trump wins Maine's 2nd district, which comprises most of Maine by landmass, but Maine's 1st district is a city, and it goes by Biden by a pretty sizable amount. So even though it's a smaller amount of land, it has the same population as Maine's 2nd. So even though Trump wins Maine's 2nd pretty decently, since Biden wins Maine's 1st by a lot, Biden wins the state of Maine at large. So next we have the state of Maryland. Maryland will go to Biden. No surprise there. And then the state of Massachusetts, again, not a surprise, going to Biden. The state of Michigan, however, it is going to Trump by +1, but after this conviction, it will probably not go to Trump. It'll tilt towards Biden, bringing him to 155. He just needs a little bit more to get to that 270 number, and that might come from New York, New Jersey, etc. We'll see what happens, but it's looking promising for Biden so far, especially after the state of Minnesota, which went to Biden by a good margin in 2020 and went to Clinton by a slim margin back in 2016. But regardless, Minnesota goes to Biden, yet Mississippi seeks to try to cancel out Minnesota. Louisiana is safe. Mississippi is trying to cancel out Minnesota, giving 6 states to Trump. Trump is behind by a lot, but the state of Missouri seeks to bring him back. It gives him 10 votes. Not a small amount. Montana, once you start adding these up, it is bringing Trump back in this race with its 4 votes. Nebraska, this is Nebraska's 2nd. Trump supporters, don't worry. Biden almost always wins, the Democratic Party almost always wins Nebraska's 2nd. Trump did win it against Clinton, but Biden won it against Trump. So Trump supporters don't have to fret. This isn't Nebraska as a whole. Nebraska as a whole is going to Donald Trump, as you can see, by like +23, a pretty sizable margin. Nebraska's 1st goes to Trump. Nebraska at large goes to Trump, and Nebraska's 3rd goes to Trump. Meanwhile, Nebraska's 2nd goes to Biden. So you can see that this is, it's kind of close. Trump is leading in this poll, Biden's leading in this poll, but after the conviction, it is going to go to Biden. Maybe not by as much as it did in 2020, but it's still going to Biden nonetheless. So Trump picks up a net 3 from Nebraska. And in Nevada, the 1 to 2 points that Biden will pick up does not bring him the 6 electoral votes. Trump still leads in Nevada. New Hampshire, however, will go to Biden, and the Trump conviction will not help his chances, even though New Hampshire is a swing state. So Biden is 100 away from the victory, and New Jersey helps bring him towards that total with 14 more. Now he's just 86 away. And we see New Mexico, the states that start with new, really do go to Biden. New Mexico, again, it goes to Biden. And then we have New York, a big hit for Donald Trump, the state he was convicted in. Trump believes, since Trump was convicted in an area that was 90% Biden supporters, Trump believes that it wasn't fair. He believes that most of the jury were Biden supporters and as such were biased against him. Only time will tell, but juries are supposed to be unbiased. So I really don't know about Trump's logic because they went through an arduous process to find people that were truly unbiased. But of course, Trump is a figure that pretty much everyone in the United States has an opinion on. So who knows? Though I do believe in the judicial process, and I do believe that Trump was guilty. So take of that what you may. So we see now with the state of North Carolina, it is going to Donald Trump by 6, and the ruling won't really affect that. It'll still go to Trump, maybe by not as much, but it brings Trump to 149. North Carolina, pretty electoral rich. North Dakota, home of Doug Burgum, the Burgum Maniacs, it goes to Donald Trump. Ohio goes to Donald Trump, solid 17 electoral votes. Oklahoma, a solid 7 electoral votes. You really don't notice how many votes Oklahoma and Kansas have because they always pretty much go to the Republican Party, but 13 votes is not something to scoff at. So next we have the state of Oregon. It goes to Biden, even though, if I do recall correctly, it had a somewhat close governor race. In the presidential elections, it is not too close. Pennsylvania, we'll see here. It's going to Biden now. The 2 points that Biden will get from the ruling will bring him to 244 electoral votes. This is a little scary for Donald Trump, judging by the fact that Washington and Virginia are remaining, but he still has a chance at victory. As we can see, most of these states will go to Donald Trump. Not the state of Rhode Island, however, that does go to Biden pretty safely. And on the other hand, the state of South Carolina, home of Nikki Haley, does go to Donald Trump with its 9 electoral votes. Maybe not so safely, but it goes to Trump nonetheless, and so does the state of South Dakota. Trump is almost at 200 electoral votes, bringing him back in this race. With the state of Tennessee, he gets aided with another 11, but he's running out of these safe states. Texas will go to Donald Trump, maybe by like 6, but that's still enough for him to easily win this election. So he's at 239. He's only 9 behind Biden now. So we'll see. Again and again, these predictions rely on the state of Wisconsin. Whoever wins Wisconsin is pretty much winning this election. I'm calling it right here. The state of Utah goes to Trump. Trump is 3 behind Biden now. But Biden expands his lead with the state of Vermont, which, interestingly enough, has a Republican governor. If you don't believe me, look it up. The state of Virginia, extremely close, only 2 percentage points, but it will go to President Biden, and it brings him to 264. So we can see that this is not looking good for President Trump. Biden gets another 12 from Washington, so we'll just end this prediction. We know that Trump will lose this election if the current totals from this Biden wins Wisconsin. If the current switch that will happen with the 2 percentage points does happen, then Biden will win this election 286 to 252, but only time will tell how this ruling actually affects Trump in his polling and in this election in general. So take this prediction with a grain of salt, but it is interesting to see how the ruling actually has significantly affected Donald Trump because he went from leading to now trailing. But again, stay tuned for my future videos because we never know. Something crazy could happen. This election is full of many twists and turns, and make sure to subscribe for more videos. And thank you.